A lot of people talk about like subtracting this and that, and I no longer buy and I no longer have, which is great because those are the initial steps. But this video is for, you know, life after minimalism, after the initial declutter. Like, what are you doing now? Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. For those who are here and new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. Today's video is going to be life after the initial minimalism declutter, 10 things to do. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo! Before we get started, as usual, some housekeeping stuff. If you haven't done so yet, check out my Patreon if you want to make any small donations, and if you don't, then just help me out with the algorithm by giving this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. And number 1, rekindle a hobby. When I started my initial minimalism declutter back in 2015, one of the first things that I did after I realized I had a problem and I need to stop decluttering was I decided to go back to some old hobbies I had not done in a really long time. One of them was just like being artsy. So I started my YouTube channel and I got back into drawing. So I started drawing again. If you guys have seen my pictures, they're major cringe and I'm working really hard to get better at them. But that's one of the things that I did. I just wanted to stop searching the minimalism rabbit hole, trying to like declutter myself to nothing. And it just was like, okay, we need to stop. We just need to rekindle a hobby. So you could consider taking up some stuff that you might have enjoyed in your youth. Maybe it was knitting, maybe it was painting, maybe it was surfing, whatever it is. This is a great opportunity to stop with the decluttering obsession and rekindle an old hobby. Number 2, start a new hobby. So maybe this is the opportunity, the great opportunity to start something that you've always wanted to start, but you were just kind of like scared and you were just like holding back and all your stuff was holding you back. Well, no more. You've done your initial declutter. You have made space in your life to start a new hobby. For myself, that was on my YouTube channel. I had never done a YouTube channel, so I was like, okay, like let's do this. So you could consider doing the same thing for yourself. Try that new thing you've always wanted to do. Maybe skydive, or take up scuba diving. I know those are really extreme examples, but I don't know. Maybe start any new hobby. Pick up that show you always wanted to start. Okay, number 3. Help others. So I think this is one of the beautiful things about minimalism is that you have taken less from yourself. You have decluttered this like just feeding and hoarding of yourself and like bloating yourself with stuff and like negative thoughts, and you've decluttered your physical stuff and your physical mind. Now you got space for others. That's one of the beautiful things about minimalism. You can help others, and that's one of the things that has helped me a lot. I've definitely rekindled my relationship with my mom after minimalism. We had like a really shit relationship, like I'm not gonna lie, like for the most of my life. Like I feel so embarrassed to tell the internet this, but hey, what happens I shared. But yeah, with minimalism, I have definitely created enough space to like be able to like listen to my mom's problems. When I was dealing with my own problems, I didn't want to hear my mom's problems. But now that I like made space and I have addressed a lot of my underlying issues, which you guys have seen with my journey, like my eating disorder, my finances, my self-esteem, my hair, like all of that stuff I have definitely addressed. So now listening to my mom's problems, I feel like I'm in a much better place. Like my cup is empty, so when she pours in her liquid, I can listen and I can be like, yes, I'm hearing you. Let's get to the bottom of what's bugging you. All right, number 4, organize your finances. Once I stopped decluttering after the initial big declutter that happened, I was able to make space in my life, like physically and also time-wise, to just be able to like look at my finances and realize that, you know what, I want to stop buying crap all the time. I actually kind of want to have some money to my name. So with that, I had more time and space to like do some finance books, watch some like YouTube videos on finance and like listen and like, you know, just get like that stuff rekindled, or not even rekindled. Who am I kidding? I had no grasp of this stuff, but just like learn about it for the first time. And my finances have definitely been in order. I would not have been able to pay off 70k of loans by myself if I hadn't got my shit together. So yeah, take this opportunity that now that you're like decluttered your stuff, maybe take a look at your finances. If like maybe they're perfect, but if they're not, take a look, you know. Start paying off some debts, get your car loans in order, your student loans in order, your mortgage, stocks, your retirement, your children's RESPs. That stuff, give it a little look now that you've decluttered your physical realm. Number 5, do something on your bucket list. One of the things on my bucket list was to start a YouTube channel. I'd always wanted to start one since like YouTube became a thing back in like 2007, and it took me a really long time. It took me nearly 7 years to work up the courage because I didn't start my channel till 2016. So do something on your bucket list, something that you feel like I've always wanted to do. Well, now that you're no longer decluttering and getting like all of that stuff out, you know, like just like vomiting out all of the trash you've been hoarding, you can definitely take this opportunity to do something on your bucket list. I don't know what are on people's bucket lists. I'm probably going to say the same thing I said last time. Try surfing or skydiving. I don't know what's on people's bucket list, but one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to write a novel. So I took the opportunity to write a lot of novels throughout my time of like 2016 to 2018. I definitely wrote a lot of novels. You can check them out. They're on Wattpad. I even have some audiobooks of them on my channel. But yeah, writing a novel was something that was on my bucket list, and I did it, and I felt really good. I was like, yes, I got it out of my system. I wrote a book. I'm an author. Number 6, figure out what matters. sometimes we don't really know what we're doing with our lives. I think most people don't know what we're doing with our lives. Don't listen to anybody who tells you that they know what they're doing. Nobody knows. But we could definitely figure out at least what matters to us. And that's one of the things that I did with minimalism. I figured out that some of the stuff I thought was important was not actually important. Like, for one, I quit the rat race. And if you knew me before I became a minimalist, I was super obsessed with the rat race. I had a bunch of luxury bags that were fake because I couldn't afford better, because I had no grasp of what true wealth was. And I had an eating disorder, and my life was a complete and utter mess. But with minimalism, I was able to address a lot of that and figure out what really mattered to me, and I was able to kind of put my life back together. I mean, by no means do I have my life together now, but I definitely do have people telling me that, like, wow, like, you look like you got your life together, and that's no accident. I had to really dig deep into, like, the fucked up shit from my, like, youth to be able to come out a better semblance of an adult, and that only happened because I figured out what mattered to me, and I couldn't do that when I was still stuck in the rat race accumulating stuff. So take this opportunity, now that you have done some decluttering in your life, to figure out what really matters to you. Number 7, take this time to relax. One of the nice things about minimalism is that I definitely have a lot of relaxation time. Before I was a minimalist, I could hardly relax. Like, relaxing, if you guys seen my other videos, was just like something I didn't do. Relaxing was akin to being lazy, and I wasn't about that. I wasn't going to be lazy. There's just so much that needed to be done because there were so many things that were lacking in my life, because I had really big voids in my life. Like, I can't relax, I gotta work out. I can't relax, I gotta work. I can't relax, I gotta X and Y. But with minimalism, I realized that I'm fine just the way that I am. There's nothing that needs to be done. And I know that sounds very hippie and very lazy, but it's not. It's actually one of the core principles of Zen, and that is that you are already complete. And once I realized that I was already complete, and there's a lot of things I didn't need to do, and since I didn't need to do them, I definitely have relaxed a lot. I definitely take a lot of joy and pride in relaxing and watching TV, relaxing and going on Wattpad and reading novels, relaxing and watching YouTube, relaxing and doing nothing at all, and I'm really happy, because then when I do get to work, I feel very relaxed and I feel really good, and I'm never thinking I never have time to relax. No such thing. With decluttering, I have definitely made space in my life to relax, and you should too. Number 8, find time for your own needs. With minimalism, I was definitely able to address some of my needs. I was always putting my needs aside. I was always thinking of all of the other things that I needed to get done in my life, and once I did my initial declutter, I no longer was in the rat race. Since I was no longer in the rat race, I addressed my body dysmorphia. I always wanted to be really thin. I used to be curvy, which is funny because now I'm curvy, but anyway, I wanted to be curvy, so I went for it, and I went crazy with this need. My need was I needed to be thin, and so I addressed it. I cut all of the shopping, so I had nothing else to do but like eat healthy and work out, and I finally achieved my dream body. And once I achieved it, I was able to better address some of the underlying issues, like realizing that I was bullied for being fat in school. And once I realized that I wasn't gonna let that keep driving my life, I realized, you know what, I'm gonna be a curvy Latina, and if anyone has a problem with it, that's their problem and not my problem. And the only reason that this came about was because I took the time to address my needs, and that only happened was because I stopped placing importance on material possessions and made space for my needs. So what I'm saying is, if you've done your initial declutter, take a look at what some of your needs are now, because you got space for it. Number 9, what do you want out of life? That is a really, really big, tough question that, it's a doozy. How do you go about answering that question? But I think that after the initial declutter, you have given yourself that beautiful gift of space, so you can kind of address and look at, well, what really is important in your life. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know what's important in my life. I have no idea what's important in my life, but I'm like going at it step by step, day by day, trying to like figure out what is important to me. What are the things that make me happy and what doesn't make me happy? Well, let's see. What are the things that make me happy? I'm happy eating healthy. I'm happy loving my body. I'm happy spending time with my friends. I'm happy spending time with my mom. I'm happy spending time with my dad. I wish I had more time for my brother, but he lives in Montreal, but we're working on it. So once I figured out what are the things that I want out of life, I mean, like, that really only came about after my initial declutter. So, you know what? You could take this time and take a pen and paper and just write it down. Write like a short list. Like, that's what I used to do. I kept it real simple, aka a la minimalism. And I would just write down, okay, I want to work out, or I want some time for yoga, or I want some time to be able to cook, or I want Sundays off so I can watch YouTube and clean the house. So just figure out, what do you want out of life? It doesn't have to be anything big or extreme, but be honest with yourself. Honesty will set you free. Number 10, add more of what matters. So this is one of the key things about minimalism that I don't feel like many people talk about. A lot of people talk about like subtracting this and that, and I no longer buy and I no longer have, which is great because those are the initial steps. You should feel not ashamed, and you should feel you're in the right to be able to add back into your life the things that you want, and that by no means makes you a hoarder. I have one friend, she is obsessed with Pino Pops? What are those things called? I don't even know. Like those little bobbly head creature thingies that people like to collect. That's like pop culture. Vinyl Pops? Is that what it is? I'm so sorry if I'm saying this wrong. I don't have any, but she has her entire like 4 walls of her room with them, and even the basement, another like extra wall, like the entire thing. Like I don't even know, maybe like 200, 300 of these things, and she loves it. And I think that that's beautiful, and that's adding more of what you love. And let's see, what about myself? What did I add more into my life once I became a minimalist? I added a lot more beige clothes into my closet. I mean, yeah, maybe my closet is not extremely minimalistic, but I feel like it serves its function and I'm really happy. So I added more of what adds value to my life. So I have more beige colored underwear, more beige socks. I probably want to add a beige jacket too. I just added more of what made me happy, and so in doing so, that's what minimalism is. It's making space for, you know, what matters. And once you realize, you know what, once you've stripped the excess, you realize, hey, that's the stuff that matters. I'm gonna add more into that in my life. Okay, this video is getting really long-winded. We're at 12 minutes. So thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.